Good evening. Welcome to Star Talk. I'm Ken Eccles, and we're happy, everybody's happy to have you with us on the program tonight. We have a phone number up there that you can call, and we have an email address wherewith you can send us an email if you wish to do that. And I hope you'll take part either by phone or by email. I actually did mail out the NASCAR points today. So those of you who communicate with us by email and take part in the contest, if you'll check your email, if you haven't yet, you will find the points in there. Excuse me, it hasn't been long since I had dinner. So they are there. The points are. Um, Somebody. Oh, okay. I'll read this one in just a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, good evening, Mr. Ken.
Good evening.
Yes, I had my secretary dial the number earlier.
All right. He or she did. Is your secretary a male or female?
Female.
Or other? Female secretary. Okay, well that's fine. Then she did a fine job of dialing the number.
Well, thank you. I'll tell her that you said so, and let's get down to business.
All right. What business are you interested in?
Well, I'm still mad with Amazon Prime for taking over the NASCAR season for now.
Well, I know some people are unhappy with that, but I'm not sure that I don't know that Amazon Prime is really to blame for it. It would be NASCAR that actually made that decision.
Well, how about this? I'm mad at both of them.
All right. And what do you plan to do about it?
I did leave a nasty note to them.
A strongly worded message of disapproval.
Said I didn't like it. They should go back to the regular FS1 or FSS2.
Or NBC, the NBC. Actually,
Well,
the race, the races right now in a normal year would have been on NBC, I think.
yes, I told them they need to go back there too and stop playing around with the viewers. We are their lifeline. We are their job. It's their job to entertain us.
Well, that is true. And did you give them a deadline? Did you give them an ultimatum?
No more Amazon Prime. Go back to FS1 and 2 and NBC.
So you want that done immediately?
I could compromise. I'll hope to see it next year. Don't want to see no more Prime.
Oh, so you are going to allow them to go ahead and fulfill the terms of their current contract?
Yeah. Why should I take my anger out on two of them where I can wait till next year?
Well, I think that's a very reasonable way to look at it. So we will see what happens next year.
Yep. And plus, they don't have the rerun of the race like they normally do on FS1. They normally, if they show it on one channel, they normally come back and show it on FS1.
Yeah, well, they ain't doing that now. Once Amazon Prime owns it, they own it all.
Well, I sent them a text too, said I didn't like them. I never will like them. I told them I will be blocking them from my television.
Wow, that is harsh. That's very harsh. I'll bet you ruined Bezos's day when he read that.
I don't care who feel. I hope their feelings were hurt, and I hope they stay hurt.
All right. Well, obviously you're taking a hard line.
Kent Eccles begin shortly.
All
It's
right.
gone back.
Okay. Well, I really don't know what to make of that because I thought I already began. But we'll see what happens. And thanks for calling.
Well, I don't hear me on TV right now, so I'm probably somebody at the other station doesn't like me either.
Okay, or maybe Amazon is intervening here. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Thanks.
Bye, sir.
Bye. So we were on in Danville, and apparently we went off in Danville. Coincidentally or not, while we were saying nasty things about Amazon Prime, we went off the air in Danville. Coincidence? Who knows? Let's read these emails here in a minute. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ken, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
Doing all right. Had a blackout just now on you. Couldn't see you, but you see part of where it says Kent Eccles.
Okay,
Half of
so
it was gone.
all right,
Half
so
of
that
it was gone, but
we knew that happened in Danville. I guess it happened everywhere, not just in Danville. Can you see me now?
uh-huh.
Am I
Oh
on?
yeah, I see you now. Good. Yeah, I can see you good now and everything now. I mean, I could
Okay.
hear you, but you was disappeared, and then all of a sudden it went with the, like when you first starting to come on.
Okay, well, I guess they fixed it then. Good.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you listen to the race on the radio?
I listened to a good part of it on the radio this past Sunday, and I enjoyed it. They do a great job on MRN.
I got to get me a radio. I don't have a radio. I want to listen to it on radio too because I think it's a little more exciting on the radio.
Well, it sort of is. Obviously, there's the disadvantage of you can't see it, but they are so good. Those guys and they're so good at describing it. And they have announcers at every turn. You turn one, and now we go to turn two, and they tell you what's going on there. They really do a good job of it.
I think you do too.
So I enjoyed it a lot. Might do it again.
Yeah, where's the nearest Radio Shack?
Oh, there's no Radio Shack anymore. They went out of business.
Oh, it ain't none at all.
There are no Radio Shacks now.
I wonder where a good electronic place is where you can get you some a headset got the AM/FM radio on it.
Probably at Walmart would be the closest place around here to do that.
You think you had to have a good set?
I think Walmart would be able to fix you up with that. That's where I check first at Walmart.
Yeah, I will. I'll go down there and check to see if I got a good set because I want a good set where you pick it up on that 9801.
Yeah, I used to buy a lot of stuff at Radio Shack. I really missed it when it went away.
Me too. I used to buy a lot of stuff. I'd buy them headsets because I'd mow yards.
Uh-huh.
And where I'd wear them out, mow so long, for long. Matter of fact, I still got 2 sets of them. And, but they done wore out, you know what I mean? The cushion inside where you can hear it real good and everything.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Well, Walmart's probably going to be your best bet in these parts.
Yeah. Well, I didn't pick my race. My driver. So.
You got the 5.
Yeah. And so I guess I'm going to go. That's what I want to know. Where was the nearest Radio Shack? I didn't know they went out of business.
Well, how's your hand? Your hand was hurting you last night.
Well, I got up this morning at 1:30. Took me 20 milligrams of prednisone. My trigger finger's fine. Matter of fact, I got up this morning, went down and done some limb trimming. Took me some locusts and trimmed the limbs off going up by the fences on the sidewalk where people's head wasn't hitting no limbs and stuff. So I went down there and done that, cleaned that up real good. Worked that out for a while. It got hot and everything, so I just quit because, I got my own time, my own hours. I go down and I get 8 hours a week, so I can go any day I want to. But my hand's great now. I can make a fist and everything. Boy, I'm gonna tell you what, Ken. When I called you late last night, it felt like I put my finger in that door jam over there, My
Hmm.
wife took it and slammed it up against it. That's how sore it hurt.
Wow.
But I don't like taking no medicine if I don't no pills if I don't have to. But I've
I
just
don't
had
blame you.
arthritis.
Don't blame you. I'm glad it's better.
And I got me some arthritis from us, but they did come through the mail. The girl works over at Greensboro called and told me she had me some. She brought it to me, so she did.
Okay,
That was
good. I'm
nice
glad
of
to
her.
hear it.
And she said when my next visit comes, that nurses got me a bottle too. So maybe I give her some paperwork from Optima when I was paying 77 cents. I ain't gonna do that no more because somebody told me they was getting them bills too, like 77 cents.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be on a program. I'm supposed
Yeah.
to be on a program, Ken. I've been on it, and I don't know what's going on, man. I've had that nurse to try to get it for me and everything, and it went from $3,000 for 30 pills to $2,000 for 30 pills. It's Zale-Jan you see on TV.
Man, that's steep. That's really steep.
Tell me about it. I
Wow.
don't even. I don't look. The time I live from month to month, Ken. That's why I get out and do a little more, so I have a little extra money to spend. You know what I mean? If I want to go eat me something, and then buy some groceries and stuff. No, I don't. I don't know. I can't afford that 2,000. I don't draw that much a month.
No, that's crazy. That's terrible.
It is. It is. I mean, but they got me on the program, but I don't know why. Ever since Trump got in, and I just can't get. I mean, I ain't got nothing against Trump or nothing, but I mean, I thought he was gonna bring everything down. But it look like they having all this tariff stuff and all that stuff going on now.
Well,
That's what I saw news about that wood.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know anything that he has done that would have affected that. Well, I guess the main thing I said is I don't know. It's a mystery to me what would have happened.
It's got something to do with, I guess, Medicare or whatever, because they had me on a plan, they had me on a program, where I was getting it every 3 months, no problem. But 3 years I know of, that
All
I
right,
didn't have
now
a problem.
you're on Medicare then, is that right?
Yeah, I'm on Medicare. I ain't on Medicaid. I didn't want to try to get no
Okay,
disability.
have you contacted Medicare and asked about that?
My nurse is supposed to be doing it, because
Okay.
I don't.
All right.
I just
Well,
don't know.
I hope the nurse can figure it out.
Yeah, I hope she gets for somebody gets me back on the program. And my doctor's leaving the end of the month, so now I'm gonna get a new doctor. So maybe she can get me on it. I don't know. Maybe they change hands. I don't know.
Well, good luck to you on that. Keep us posted.
Yeah, I will, Ken. But I'm doing great on my hand and everything. It's just where I overdone it. I done 4 yards, and plus I went down and work too, running that weed eater, and I just overdone it. Just overdone it what I do.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it's better.
I just like working. That's all it is. So I'm a workaholic. Instead of an alcoholic, I'm a workaholic.
Good for you. Good for you.
And I don't drink either.
Right. Bill, good for you on that also. And thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
calling.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ken. Bye.
Good night. Okay. Phone line is open. There's a number. The email address is keneckleslive@gmail.com. And we had a couple over here. Hey, Ken, this is Jack. Put me down for the 17, Chris Busher at Michigan. Oh, by the way, what place are you in? I wish you wouldn't ask me that. What place are you in? Seems it wasn't on my list. Thanks again. Jack has the 17 for Michigan. And no, I'm not on your list. I'm not official. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
How you doing tonight, Ken?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I want to pick the number 5 this coming week.
All right. Mr. Pelham, who is in second place, takes the 5. It's in the book.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Got a question.
Okay, what?
You know anybody that's with the local government federal credit union?
The local government federal credit union. Let me think a second. I don't believe I do. No, I don't think I do.
Okay. Reason I ask is I've been with it since 1989 when I went to work for the county, and I assumed that it was State Employees Credit Union. Okay.
Okay.
And then I got about 3 weeks ago, I started getting stuff from Civic that's assuming the bank accounts for local government credit unions. Okay, like county employees, some state employees, whatever. Okay.
Oh, all right.
I assume police departments and whatever is all with a local government credit union. So I got this literature from Civic about 3 weeks ago, and they said, we're changing to Civic Credit Union. And they basically said, no changes at all. It'd just be more opportunities to do more stuff online and whatever. But they sent us out a new ATM card, and it had to be activated by May 29th. So I got the card activated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went to Sam's Club Sunday and got some diesel for my tractor to mow yard with, and the card was declined. I'm thinking, what's this about? So I happened to think, well, maybe Civic is doing the credit card now instead of the local government credit union card. So I tried it. It worked fine. So I didn't pay it any more attention. So I just assumed the whole time, and you know the meaning of assume, but I just assumed I was with the State Employees Credit Union for 36 years or whatever. So I went to Burlington yesterday. I bought a little car that I'm going to resell, and I had the money to buy the car with, but I needed some more cash to do the title transfer in DMV in Burlington.
Right.
So the credit union office was next door to the State Employees Credit Union, which I've been dealing with for years. I go in, the lady says, can I help you? I said, yeah, I want to withdraw some money. And she says, okay, do you have your card with you? I said, no, I just usually use my Social Security number. And so I gave it to her. 3 times she says, I'm sorry, you don't belong to this organization. She said, what's your name? And I told her. And she said, oh, you're no longer a member of the credit union here. I said, what are you talking about? I said, I've been with them since 1989. She said, well, you're not anymore. You belong to Civic. So I couldn't even withdraw money from the credit union that I already had money, savings, checking, and everything with at that time. So I had to go another route and get the money to do this title transfer with.
Yeah.
So when I got home, I called Civic Credit Union, and the lady there told me that the whole system is shut down until June 3rd during this transfer from local government credit union to Civic. And we had a kind of a heated discussion, and but I told her, I said, you know, according to the literature that I got from y'all, there would be no changes. She said, what happened is Civic now has bought out the local government federal credit union, and now we're Civic. So if you need any money before everything is closed out, you need to either go to the Piedmont Advantage Credit Union in Eden or American Partners Credit Union in Reidsville.
How'd they get involved?
Well, they are assuming the accounts for the Civic group until everything is settled.
Okay.
And
Did
I
you
asked,
get? Wait a
I
second.
had. I'm sorry,
Did
go
you get
ahead.
any? You didn't get any notice of that?
No, nothing in the paperwork I got said that anything like that. It was only going to be advantageous for me for being a member of Civic. So I did go to the bank today in Eden, talked to a very nice lady over there, works for Piedmont Advantage. Her name is Robin Dean. Very informed, very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And she explained it to me, and she says, well, even here, you can use your debit card or your ATM card to withdraw money. But if you do not have a member ID number, which you do not have yet because they haven't given anybody a member ID number, she said the office in Greensboro is so packed today that you can't even find a parking spot. The one in Raleigh is the same way. I mean, it was just a total cluster mess, Ken, you know. But I think that is so deceitful.
All right.
So what I plan to do is, and I told the lady at Piedmont Advantage today, that I have a sister or two that's with State Employees Credit Union, and I'm going over there, and if they're my, family member or relative or whatever, you can sign up for the State Employees Credit Union. Because I worked there, I've been there for, a lot of years, and I enjoy the people and the service and everything else. But I think it's so deceiving, Ken, for these people to just take your money, your accounts, and do whatever they want to do with it without any real notice,
All right, let me ask you a couple of things. Is it CIVIC? Is that what it is?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, because I never heard of them. Not that that's
Neither.
here
No.
or there. So you didn't get any notice about the other two that are handling the accounts in the interim. And I think you said that Civic told you that everything would be done on June 3rd, but today is June 3rd, is it not?
Exactly right. And I called again this evening, Ken, trying to get in touch with somebody to get my account member number, and nobody could give me anything. Well, I'll be back in touch with you. So how long is that supposed to go on?
Well, if they said it would be done by June 3rd, it shouldn't go on any longer, but obviously it's going to.
Yeah, no doubt. And the lady at Piedmont Advantage told me today, she said, you would not believe the people we have coming in and phone calls trying to get a member ID number. And she says, we can't give it to you because it comes from Civic. And the same number that's in the literature to call if you have any questions. I called yesterday and then I couldn't get through. You're like caller number 20. I gave my name and number for them to call me back. Well, the thing about it is when they call back, caller ID said spam risk, and I hadn't gotten one of those calls in a year or so. I'm thinking, well, who's scamming me now? Well, it just happens to be Civic. The person the other end of the line, I'm saying, this ain't good,
When did you first become aware that Civic was buying your credit union?
The other day yesterday when I went to the State Employees Credit Union, and the lady told me that you're no longer a member. But she said, just because you deal with State Employees Credit Union, that does not make you a State Employees Credit Union member.
Right.
Local government federal credit union is a whole different organization, but they've been combined with State Employees Credit Union forever.
Now, isn't there a law? I might be saying more than I know here. Isn't there a law that says in a situation like this, a company has to give its members, a credit union, for example, has to give its members a certain notice when they decide when they're going to be sold or somebody's going to take over accounts? I think they're supposed to give you notice fairly well in advance of that. I take it that didn't happen.
It did not, Ken. I started getting literature in the mail about the first week in May saying that local government credit union will not be called that anymore. We're assuming those accounts, and it would be called Civic. And it did not ever mention anything about you can't use the same lending institution, the same people, or the same debit card or anything else. They just wiped that slate clean.
Well, if I was a customer, that would not make a good impression on me, to say the least. Because if they handle this that way, how are they going to handle other things? That's what I would wonder about.
That's exactly what I thought, Ken, and especially when you get a call that says spam risk and the lady on the other end of it's working for Civic,
Yeah, that's a bad sign when your credit union calls and it says spam risk. That's not good.
And I explained it to the lady I talked to too. She was just trying to put me off every way she could, and but I found more from the lady today at Piedmont Advantage that told me exactly what I needed to do and how to get to it. But she said, until you can get your ID number, your member number from the Civic, we can't do anything.
Well, I dealt with Piedmont Advantage. Wasn't this same situation. It was kind of a similar situation. Even though I wasn't a member of Piedmont Advantage, I did have to deal with them, and they were extremely helpful. They always knew the answer to every question. So I was really impressed with them, as obviously you were too.
Right.
Okay. Well, good luck. I would have to, this is just me. I would have to, I think, consider looking for somewhere else, which I guess that's what you're doing.
Yep, yep. All right, one other quick thing, Ken. I went to Dick's Drive-In today when I was in Eden, and I hadn't seen this done in years, but it happened. Went up, drive through there, and made my order, not to drive through, pull in and park, and the lady comes out and takes your order, right?
Right.
And she comes out and takes my order. I told her what I wanted, and she says, "Would you like a tray or a bag?"
Huh.
I said, "A tray?" He said, "Yeah, we have trays now." I said, "Great, I'll take a tray, just for old time's sake, right?"
Yeah.
Well, the lady was gone about 5 minutes. She brought my food order back out, and she was a younger lady. And so I had my window rolled down. I started rolling up a little bit, just enough to catch the tray. And she started to hand me the tray, but she wanted to put the tray to the inside of the car instead of the outside of the car.
Huh.
And I was trying to take it from her and correct her, and she says, "No, no, 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 that's not the way it works." I said, "Yes, ma'am, it does." So I just thought it was so, kind of funny in a way that she was going to give me a tray, and she probably don't even remember trays. She said, "We're just starting to do this." And she wanted to put it on the inside. And I said, "No, it works the other way." But
Yeah, if she was young, she never heard of anything like that because they've been gone a long time. But I'm glad they brought them back. I used to like to have the tray on the outside of the window. I always enjoyed that.
yeah, I did too, Ken. All right, Ken, thanks for taking my call. I really enjoy your show, man.
Thanks for calling. Good to hear from you. So they've got the window trays back at Dick's Drive-In, just like 1968. There are probably a lot of you who've never heard of getting a window tray at the drive-in. The only thing you have to really watch out for is don't forget and drive off with the tray still on your window, because that can get ugly. Phone line is open. The number's up there. The email address is what is it? Oh, it's Ken Eccles Live at gmail.com. And Jack want to know where I would be ranked if I was ranked. And let's see, I think I'd be 13th this week. I've been worse, but I think this week I would be 13th if I was officially in the contest, which I'm not. This emailer says, "Hi, Ken, this is Citizen D. Good to hear from Briscoe last night. I agree with him that we need more calls not discussing the three subjects he mentioned, especially politics. We need more calls from Briscoe. And again, the coverage on Prime for the pregame and post race is much better than on those other channels. Also, did you see that some company had purchased the old building in Madison and is putting something in about AI? I didn't know that. They said the average salary would be $67,000. That might be a good place to work. Thanks. Citizen D and I plan on passing the Liberal and getting out of last with my sights on Pretty Man next." Okay, that should be interesting. That's interesting also about somebody buying the building in Madison and putting some sort of AI operation in that. I didn't know that. I'd like to know about that. I'll see if I can find out more about that, especially with a $67,000 annual salary, because that's nearly as much. That's nearly as much as I make doing this show 3 hours a week. Nearly as much. This one says, Biden's mind reflected the border, that is chaos. No more. New sheriff in town. Was not secure then. All the solution took was a new president. No congressional legislation, as old geezer demented Biden wanted USA to believe. Joke is on him and them. What do the local Trump-hating lunatics think of their President 46 remaining in the news? The old geezer won't go away. For tell-all books, bleeding and drowning his legacy. But the lunatic Trump haters remain believing his unwanted bills did so much wrong, says the emailer. All right. This one says, Ken, last night you said NASCAR blocked you. Well, we'll get back to that in a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Ken. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
All right. While I'm thinking about it, what is Christopher Bell? 30?
Christopher
his
Bell is the 20.
20.
Yeah.
Let me have Christopher Bell.
Okay. Liberal
next
has
race.
Christopher Bell for Michigan. It's in the book.
And look, as far as passing the liberal just sitting around waiting to be inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, you'll always have that wire-to-wire run, no matter what else happens.
That's it. I don't think it's going to be it's jeopardized in any way.
Well, certainly not in this segment. It won't.
Well, look, Ken, let me say this. The honeymoon is over. I spoke with you and told you, put it in the great book that I think I said 6 months, but I was a little bit off.
Are we talking about
Elon
Musk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elon Musk, who was appointed to cut the company finance, said he couldn't stand by this big, beautiful bill. And his words was, quote, is a disgusting abomination.
That's
Did
what he
you
said.
see that? That's what he said. That's fact. That's facts. That's not fake. And said the bill is adding as much or more as Doge had cut.
Yeah, Musk was very, very direct in his statements today. And I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but President Trump also announced that he has withdrawn the nomination of Mr. Isaacson to head NASA, Mr. Isaacson being an associate of Elon Musk.
I know it.
And he's now no longer going to be the head of NASA.
But see, I don't know how people get fooled by this man, Ken. Look, see, he got $275 million, a record for his election campaign for Mr. Trump. And after that, he's ready to kick him to the curb too. Musk didn't learn anything by Mike Pence. If it's anything, I wouldn't go to the White House for any rallies if I was Musk, because he might see some gallows.
Well, let's hope not. His particular objection, as I understood what Musk said today, his particular objection was that the bill increases government borrowing, and he objects to the fact that the bill increases the debt ceiling. This part of the law is set up to allow the government to borrow more money rather than borrowing less money. And that's apparently what got Musk upset.
Yeah. And one other thing, Ken. Now, Trump commuted a man convicted of stealing $200 million in fake billing in the Florida Medicare. And the man he was convicted of it. Evidence showed he got 20 years, and now his name, Lawrence Duran. I try to come with the facts. He's a free man, but this man stole $200 million in our money from the government, and now was pardoned immediately by Trump.
Well, I think everybody's heard me say what I think about presidential pardons. I wish they didn't have that, and this is one of those times.
If you're trying to save the government money, why are you gonna give a crook like this a second chance at stealing some more? But
I don't know. I don't
but
know.
Ken, but Ken, look, put this in the great book. Now, the liberal said P. Diddy will be pardoned as
Oh.
soon as the price is negotiated.
Okay, you're predicting that he's going to pardon P. Diddy.
That's correct.
Okay.
And enjoy your show, Ken.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling.
All right.
We'll write it. We'll write it in the book, and we'll see what happens. Phone line is open. There's the number. The email address is kennickolslive@gmail.com. And this emailer was saying, Ken, you said you got blocked by NASCAR. I did. I'm still blocked by NASCAR. But you said you're going to use a fake IP address to get around it. That's what I said. We'll continue this in a second. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good evening to you, Ken.
Good evening.
I think I'm probably going to stir the pot with this question for you.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to do this. You know, the talk of pardons makes me think of something, and what came to mind was the current president's pardoning of all of the January 6th people. Let's just leave it at that, all right?
Right.
And it leads me to a question I've wondered about. And let me see what you think about this one, and I'm curious about this.
Okay.
We have a long history in this country of seeing law enforcement, when they come under attack, use lethal force. It's been, whether it's been college students demonstrating or protesters or whatever, you know, their law enforcement has a long history of doing that, which set me to wondering why on January 6th, considering all that we saw taking place, we saw a violent mob attack law enforcement with weapons, but yet the law enforcement, for the first time that I can ever recall, did not use lethal force to repel the attack. Why did that happen?
Well, I don't know. I guess I would say that there certainly were weapons. You know, they're using flagpoles as weapons. They were using shields as weapons. They were using bear spray as weapons. All those things are weapons. They didn't shoot. They weren't shooting at anybody. They didn't produce guns. And I'm just going to guess that the evaluation by the Capitol Police was, well, they're not shooting at us. We will. We won't respond with lethal force. Of course, there was lethal force used in that one case when the group was trying to break down the door inside the Capitol, and Ashley Babbitt was unfortunately killed, and we're all very sorry that happened. But by and large, the police outside didn't use lethal force. I guess they didn't consider themselves confronted by lethal force.
Which is fascinating when you look at history in this country. We've all seen examples of law enforcement shooting someone who's attempting to drive away from them at a traffic stop.
We
Plain
have
and
seen
simple.
that. Yes, we have.
You know, we have seen innocent people shot in their own apartment multiple times. So we see, in this case of January 6th, a large contingent of law enforcement who were indeed attacked with everything from fire extinguishers to bear spray to flagpoles to whatever the assailant could pick up. I wonder about the guy who was stuck in a doorway being crushed by the mob. You remember that picture?
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry, folks, but if that's me, I'm going to empty every magazine I've got, and
Well, that is.
I wonder why this country is so quick to defend the January 6th rioters when we have a history of this. And for the life of me, I struggle to find an explanation as to why law enforcement did not use lethal force on that day. It does not add up.
Well, there is, I have said, and I guess I could add to that this, and this would be based on comments made by some police officers. And one comment I heard from one of the officers is that I forget whether he said I or we, but whichever he said, I or we were so outnumbered, so overwhelmed, we were trying to do everything we could not to further incite the crowd. And he said in some cases it may have looked like, and probably did look like, we weren't really trying to do our jobs, but we were afraid, he said, that given the imbalance in numbers, if we did anything to make them angry, then they really would have killed us. And that's just a comment from one officer, and I don't know how many of them felt that way.
All I can think of is Kent State, the Jackson, Mississippi shootings. I mean, come on. But anyway, all right. Moving on from that, one other thing that irked my cross, since I'm venting my spleen tonight, and this one I'll try to make short for you. I cannot understand why anybody in the world, especially in this country, can say anything about what's going on in Ukraine when I look at it very simply from this standpoint. What would you do if I came onto your land and took it from you by force? Would you negotiate? Would you negotiate with me?
I think any nation would respond to that by trying to drive out an invading army. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
So why in the world is the leadership in this country saying that Ukraine shouldn't be negotiating? There is no negotiating. The negotiation is simple. Get your butt out of my border or I'm going to keep shooting at you.
Well, that is, of course, what we are seeing. As far as negotiation, I don't know how much negotiation is actually going on. Vladimir Putin has already said that they will not give up any of the land that they have taken. He has said that he continues to demand, well, I do need to go through the list. Putin has said that he will make no concessions whatsoever. And that's not really a negotiation.
Exactly. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why my elected leadership is proposing anything in regards to negotiation. And get your butt out of my country, plain and simple, or the war goes on. And I cannot for the life of me understand why nobody else seems to be making that brutally clear.
Well, somebody is. Lindsey Graham, for example, Republican senator, and Richard Blumenthal, a Democratic senator, have gone to Ukraine to try to encourage the government to continue the resistance. And they also are trying to, they've written a bill. Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal have written a bill which they've introduced in the Senate that would put a 500% tariff on any country that does business with Russia, and several other things that bill would do to punish Russia. And they are trying to get that to a vote in the Senate. I don't know if they will or not, but there are some people up there who see it your way.
I mean, plain and simple, I see it this way. It's my job as this country, and my role in this particular thing is to say to the Ukrainian people, what weapon you need, you got. No Mickey Mousing around with all of this back and forth. And I really resent this whole extortion crap. Excuse my language. I apologize.
Yeah.
This extortion that's going on with Trump and insisting he get natural resources from Ukraine so that he gives them weapons to defend their own property. That just irks me no end. I cannot understand why anybody in this country can support that. And Ken, I've taken up far too much of your time. I told you I was going to stir it up, my friend.
Yeah, you did. And thank you for calling.
Have a good evening.
Good night. Let's see. We have, we're not that much time left. Just 4 or 5 minutes. Phone line is open. The email address is KenEcclesLive@gmail.com. And let's see, the emailer was saying, you said you're going to use a fake IP address and try to get around the NASCAR block. I have two questions. Did that work? And how do you use a fake IP address? Yeah, it did work. When I when I used the fake IP address, I got in. How do you do it? It's very simple. You get something called a virtual private network. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it and find out very quickly. And with a VPN, you can give yourself an IP address that puts you in Florida or New York or Bulgaria or pretty much anywhere in the world. And with that, you can get around a NASCAR block or a sports event blackout, or there's all kinds of things you can skip around with a fake IP address. But that still leaves me irked and wondering at why NASCAR has blocked me at my actual IP address. If I try that, they won't let me in. and it's really aggressive. It's a very aggressive thing. It's got this big red X comes up on the screen. It's really embarrassing. It's like they're almost yelling at you with this enormous red X that says, no, go away. Go away. We don't want you here. And for the life of me, I have no idea why. So I don't know how to fix it because I don't know what the problem is. But it doesn't happen to me anywhere else. You know, my bank lets me in. But all the other places, everywhere else I go, they let me in. Welcome to our website. Hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. My credit union, my wife's account where all her money is, get right in, but not NASCAR. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go, please.
Ken Briscoe.
Hey, Briscoe.
Just a little bit off course,
All right.
but I just want to mention to you, and cut me out if you want to. But I heard somewhere today that there's a new female entertainer, singer, coming up behind Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And she is going to use a number exactly the opposite from Taylor Swift.
How's that?
Do you want me to front her slow?
She's going to call herself what now?
Front her slow.
Oh, slow as the opposite of Swift. Okay. It takes me a while, Briscoe, but I get it.
And opposite of Taylor.
Taylor slow.
No, opposite of Taylor.
Oh, opposite of Taylor slow.
Right.
Okay. I have not heard of her, Briscoe. You're telling me this for the first time.
Well, thank you for taking my call. I apologize for being off color.
That's all right. That's fine. Thank you. I'm not all color. I guess I'm not in the vanguard of cultural awareness. So I had not heard of that one yet. But I'll get right on the internet when I get off the air and see if I can find her. Unless her website blocks me, as sometimes happens to me. The emailer says, Ken, is it true? Well, no, it went off. Ken, is it true that Craig Travis has refiled his lawsuit against the county commissioners that was dismissed in court before? I heard somebody say he's refiled it and the lawsuit is coming back. Yes. Former County Commissioner Craig Travis is reopening his defamation lawsuit that, as the emailer points out, was dismissed last week or week before last. Maybe it was week before, whichever it was. He's reopened that, saying that the judge was biased. So we'll see. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ken, it's Mark Marion.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Okay, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
That's good. The building that what was his name? I forgot what his name is. But is that the old Unified building that somebody bought?
Yeah, that must be it. The one that's going to have some sort of an AI activity in it. That's exactly right. It's the old Unify building.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard or seen on news or something.
You're right. I'd forgotten about that, but thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. Then I was gonna say something else. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well,
oh well. Who you think will win against Sam Page and Phil Berger when they run against each other?
That's going to be, I don't know, Mark, that's a hard one to predict. I don't know. You know, Phil Berger has a lot of money and a whole lot of connections, and Sam Page is maybe the most popular guy in Rockingham County. If he's not, he's close to it. I just don't know. That'd be a real interesting match.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people like Phil Berger, a lot of people like Sam Page, so
well, yeah, they're both
it'll be interesting.
They're both very popular. I don't know. I would not try to pick a winner there.
Oh yeah. Okay, thanks, Ken.
Well, thanks for calling, Mark. And that's all the time we have for Star Talk. We're on the air Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I hope you'll join us for our next show. Thanks for watching. I'm Ken Eccles.